Hey everyone, it's TJ, DominateDepression.com. I want to shoot a quick video before the sun goes down, and today I want to talk about the biggest lie that depression tells you. So you've tried all these different things, you hear about this one method that's gonna work, you go out and try it, maybe it works a little bit, but then you come right back down, you relapse, you're still depressed after trying all this stuff, you're laying there at night, and then your brain goes, depression is forever, depression's permanent. And you start to believe that you cannot fix depression and that you'll always have it. So the question is, can depression be cured? Can it be cured? So the thing is, your brain is only going to see the negative stories. The reality of it is, depression is being cured all the time. All the time. People are always emailing me about their success stories or saying, hey, I did this and now I'm not depressed. Hey, my life is this way. I'm doing so great. Me personally, I had bad depression for 11 years until I figured it out and then it was over. It's just, the depression itself, by its very definition, puts a filter over your brain so you can't see any of those positive messages. If anyone says, hey, depression can be cured, by its very definition, depression, you're going to have depressing thoughts. So there's a filter. Every time someone says something, so let's say someone says, hey, depression can be cured. When you're depressed, that's just, you're filtering out that and you don't even hear it. Only thing that you see is that depression can't be cured. Only thing you're seeing are the negative stories. And with depression, the main reason why you're only seeing that is because of the filter. That's what I call it. I call it the filter, because that basically means that your brain cannot think in realistic terms. So a lot of people, they try and say think positive and all that crap, but I say just think realistically, right? Instead of being like, oh yeah, depression can be beat, depression can be beat, just actually say, well, actually, can it? Can it actually be beat, like in reality? And the truth is it can. But the reason why you never see these success stories, and there's not very many of them, and the reason why you only see the negative stories is because of two things. There's two reasons why you only see the negative stories. The first is that even in a healthy brain that's working properly, negative events actually register more than positive ones. It's a survival mechanism. They usually say negative things, if you're married or have a partner, it takes about 3 to 5 positive things to equal 1 negative thing. And why is that? It's because we had to survive. It's a lot better for your brain to remember, hey, by the river, there's a lion that's going to kill me, versus, hey, by that little pond, there's some cute flowers that look good, right? Your brain doesn't really care about the flowers. It cares about the lion that's going to kill it. That's why all the news channels, all they show is violence, people rioting, all the negative stories, even though those are actually a lot of good things. Like, if the news channel said, hey, 4 high school students decided to give back to their community, they sold some lemonade and then rescued some dogs from the pound, no one's going to tune in. That news channel is going to go out of business. The news channel that wins is the one that says, hey, 4 killed downtown last night at a bar fight. Click, if it's on the internet, click this to get the gory details. That's what's going to get people's attention, because that's the way our brain is wired. It's already wired to see those negative events. And so even normal people, even people that aren't depressed, that's what's going to happen. You're going to see only the negative. You're not going to see the positive. And so it makes it even worse when you have depression, because then you have the filter as well. So the very few rare messages, you're not going to see them. And by the way, the reason why you don't see so much success stories is, for one, you're only seeing the negative. It's a lot easier to go on like antidepressant forums and see all the horror stories of people trying to get off it instead of trying to look for success stories. But also, people that are depressed are going to be posting about their pain. They're going to be posting about all the negative things happening. People that fix it, they're not going to sit there and go on the forum. A lot of the people that come on my site and they fix it, I never even hear from them again. They just go on living their lives because they don't want to they don't have to think about it anymore. They fixed it, they move on, they start living life, they start doing all the things they wanted to do. They don't want to sit there and talk about depression all the time. Actually, when I started this site myself, it was kind of hard because talking about it all the time, I would start to feel what people are feeling, and it was almost, really hard for me. But I've just done it for so long now that I can have someone that's in a very dark place, and I can still help them without feeling the negative things myself. But when you beat depression, it's almost like, hey, I just want to go live. I don't want to ruminate on this past depression. So the people that are actually succeeding, they're not sitting there posting all over the place saying, hey, life's good. It's kind of like, hey, there's flowers by the pond. Not very many people are posting that. People are posting about the lion that's going to kill them. People are posting about the severe pain that they're going under. Other reason is a lot of people that succeed and beat depression, they don't want to post about it because they don't want to go public that they had depression. That's the other problem with this whole, hey, can depression be cured? Can depression be beat? Only stories I see is the negative ones. And the truth is, a lot of those people don't want to come public and say, hey, I beat depression. Hey, this is me, I had it. Because there's still that kind of negative stigma that if you have depression, something's wrong with you or whatever. So people don't want to deal with that either. So when you're depressed, you already have the filter. Everything is already being filtered. So even success stories aren't going to go in there. I tell people, hey, I had depression 11 years and fixed it. And people go, no, you never had depression. It's like, okay, well, shit. You got the filter. 2, all the success stories, you're not going to see very many of them because the people that do succeed, they're not going to be as likely to post it. They want to move on with their lives, and they don't want to be public about it. So there's kind of those 3 main reasons why, hey, you might be thinking that depression cannot be cured, that depression is permanent, depression is forever, and you'll never fix it. All right, so let's say depression can be cured. Well, then how long is depression going to last? That's the second most common thing I'm asked. A lot of people email me, hey, is this forever? Is this permanent? And then a lot of people say, well, how long is this going to last? How long am I going to be depressed for? And, the answer that we all hate is, it depends. So depression, it's confusing because a lot of people see depression as this thing. Like, I get depression, and all of a sudden depression is this thing that I have, right? But depression is caused by all these different factors, right? There's a million different things that can cause depression, so there's a million different ways to beat depression. And so it's not so much how long is this depression going to last, but how long is it going to take to fix the root causes that are causing your depression, right? So let's say someone that has a chronic Epstein-Barr virus, they have leaky gut, they have adrenal fatigue, the thyroid is thrown off, and they're allergic to all these foods that they're not aware of and they're still eating. How long is it going to take that person to fix depression compared to the person that the only thing is they're deficient in vitamin D, they just need to supplement with vitamin D for a few weeks, get their levels back, and the rest of their body's working, right? The person with the more complicated situation, that might take them months. It might take them 5, 6 months, maybe even a year to fix it, whereas the person that only needs vitamin D, 2 weeks later, they might be saying, hey, I'm good. Like one time I talked to someone and she was just like really addicted to bread. And if you're really addicted to some kind of food, it usually means there's something going on there. And she was having all these depression problems. She was kind of figuring it out. I was like, look, just try to not eat bread or gluten for 2 weeks, just as a test, just see what happens, right? It's kind of, okay, finally I was like, all right, I'll try it. All of a sudden, 3 weeks later, all her symptoms had gone away because the only thing left was she was allergic to gluten. So after talking to her, it was only 3 weeks, right? But everyone's different, right? If someone that was taking Nardil, really strong medication for 25 years, it might take that person a year of recovery for their brain to come back to normal. So it's not so much how long does this depression thing last, it's how long is it going to take to fix the root causes that is causing your depression. Okay, so the reason why you think depression's forever is all these different functions in the brain, filter, you got only negative stories that are being published, people that succeed don't want to be public about it. We know that depression can be fixed. It's not forever, and some people it's going to take a while, some people it's not. It's going to take longer. So how do we move forwards, right? How you move forwards is you have to find the root causes for your depression. You have to do this no matter what, right? You got to stop ignoring all the negative stories, okay? Like a lot of people, especially when Robin Williams died, right? The only reason it was so salient is because it was all over the news. It was a big character. Like people are saying, hey, he was so rich, he had so famous. If he can't beat it, if he couldn't beat depression, then I can, right? But that's just one person. That's just one person. Plus being famous, that's It makes life even harder. You got a lot more bigger problems to deal with. So you got to ignore those negative stories. Like, they do exist. They are out there. People are suffering. And there's a whole group of people that are succeeding that you're not seeing, right? And so you have to focus on what can you do to fix it, right? So let's just not even argue if depression can be fixed or not. Let's say maybe it can't. Let's say maybe it can't. Maybe the lie that depression's forever is true. So what are you going to do, right? What are you going to do? You either have two choices. Either just accept depression forever and just say that you're screwed and life's going to suck, or you say, no, I'm going to fix this. I'm going to keep moving forward no matter what, right? See, the biggest thing that made the difference for me is at one point when my best friend died, I said, I'm going to try everything for a year, no matter what, until I fix this depression. And that opened my mind up to everything. I started trying all these different things, and I just kept going. It didn't matter. I kept failing, and I kept going. Like, sometimes it was even hard to just brush my teeth in the morning. Like, that's how, like, this the hardest thing is, like, I know that people that are watching this, if they're really depressed, they're going to be watching this, and it's going to be so hard just to get out of the chair and go get some water. But I had to just, every little thing, like, I would just go down to Barnes & Noble, like, I would just get up and I was like, and I just walk down to Barnes & Noble, and I just grab a book, and I just start reading it, and just like super confused brain fog, and I just sit there and read it, like, just, even just like, I was like, this is the one thing I did that day, right? You have to do whatever it takes, no matter what, to find your root causes. And here's the thing, who cares how long it takes? I don't care if it takes 5 years. If it takes 10 years, it's still worth it. Even if it takes you 10 years to fix it, which, by the way, it probably won't, but even if it did, it would be worth it. So what choice do you even have, right? You basically, there's only one choice, and that's to accept that depression, you can beat it. We just have to figure out what is causing your depression, what you need to fix it, and then fix it. And we're going to do that no matter what it takes. You need to tell yourself, I am going to fix depression no matter what it takes. Okay? So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I just wanted to put that out there. I get a lot of emails. Hey, is depression forever? Is depression forever? Is depression permanent? And the biggest lie that depression will ever tell you, that filter will ever tell you, is that depression is forever. Because it's not.